Dense forests, swamps, and mountains hide something inexplicable. Creatures nearly 3 meters tall, covered in thick fur that have eluded cameras and scientists for decades. I have gathered the most shocking footage, after which you will never be the same. Ready to learn the truth? Then, make yourself comfortable. The dark forests of North America conceal one of the most enigmatic mysteries of modern times. There, a creature that has been stirring the minds of scientists, cryptozoologists, and ordinary witnesses for over 100 years. It is called Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the forest man. A gigantic, thickly furred humanoid that seems to deliberately avoid encounters with humans, leaving only hints of its existence. Gigantic footprints, broken branches, and rare blurry images. What do we know for sure? Reports of encounters with this creature come from various parts of the continent, but most frequently from the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. The descriptions are surprisingly similar. Height ranging from 2 to 3 meters, powerful build, long arms, short neck, and a distinctive gait with a slight sway. Witnesses note a piercing, chilling gaze and a sharp odor reminiscent of a mix of wet dog and rotting meat. Where could this mysterious forest dweller have come from? Scientists propose several theories. The first is a relic hominid, miraculously preserved to our days. Possibly a descendant of the giant ape, an ancient anthropoid ape that once inhabited these lands. The second theory suggests that Bigfoot is the result of parallel evolution, a creature that developed separately from the primate species known to us. There are also bolder assumptions, ranging from interdimensional travelers to genetic experiments hidden from the public. But why then are there still no irrefutable proofs? The answer lies in the very nature of this creature. Numerous eyewitnesses describe not just an animal, but an intelligent and cautious forest dweller who knows perfectly well how to avoid humans. It's as if it plays a game of cat and mouse with us, leaving just enough traces to maintain interest, but never revealing all its cards. In the last 50 years, dozens of videos have emerged claiming authenticity. Some of them are obvious fakes, while others make even the most hardened skeptics think twice. In the following chapters, we will thoroughly examine the most famous and plausible footage, frame by frame, to understand what is truly depicted in them. But before we move on to the analysis, ask yourself this question. Are you ready to believe that in the 21st century, in the age of satellites and drones, there could still be unknown phenomena on our planet? Creatures of such size? If the answer is yes, then get ready. Ahead lies a journey into a world where the line between reality and myth becomes blurred. And if not, it will be all the more interesting to test your certainty. Because one thing can be said for sure. Whatever these creatures may be, they leave too many traces to be mere fiction. And they hide too well to be ordinary animals. Imagine yourself in the place of this couple. A regular hike, fresh air, birds singing, until something moved in the bushes 200 meters away from you. Neither a bear nor a deer, a tall, dark-furred humanoid moving with an unnatural, almost frightening grace. What can we infer from this? Video? Bigfoot is nearly 3 meters tall, with long arms hanging below the knees and a distinctive wide gait, unlike a human's. And now the main question. Is all of this fake? Who would dare to undertake such a hoax? To break away from friends, sneak through the thicket, put on a costume, and then what? Wave at the camera for 12 seconds? Too complicated for a prank. That's what truly frightens. We don't know what happened before these frames, what happened after. Where did this creature go? Anyone who has ever been in a remote forest will understand this feeling. It's like icy fingers run down your back when something unusual flickers in the distance. Perhaps you will be the lucky one to become the witness who finally captures indisputable evidence. Or maybe you should have already checked if all your friends returned from the last hike. Just an ordinary camping trip. Just ordinary guys. An unusual creature. Birdcard, as he calls himself. The witness initially thought he was seeing a large black bear. But then the bear unexpectedly stood up on 2 legs. 2.5 meters of muscular mass. A chest like a barrel. A gaze that makes your blood run cold. We stood there as if rooted to the spot, recalls the eyewitness. It wasn't a bear. It was something else. And yes, we didn't believe in Bigfoot stories until that Monday. And what's the most frightening part? These guys aren't cryptozoologists, not adventurers, just ordinary tourists who are now forever marked by an encounter with the inexplicable. It can happen to anyone. And now the question, what would you do if you saw this 200 meters from your tent? By the way, if this video is indeed a fake, someone is very lucky with their relatives. Imagine how the son's request might sound. Dad, I desperately need you to pretend to be a hairy monster in Utah for a YouTube video. High in the mountains, where the air is thin and the rocks cast long shadows, Petty Kowalski witnessed something he refused to believe his entire life. 2 creatures, Not one, but two whole creatures. This video, a rare case where two humanoids were captured in the frame at once. Their silhouettes are clearly visible against the snow. Slender, almost graceful figures with characteristic raised shoulders and a head tucked into the shoulders as if from the cold. A lightning strike, that's how Petty described his feelings. A Warsaw native, accustomed to urban comfort, in an instant became a witness to an ancient mystery. What makes this case special? These creatures do not resemble their American relatives. They are a product of the mountains. They have a lighter build, a distinctive head posture, and move unusually. And most importantly, there were two of them. This changes everything. If this is not a hoax, then we have evidence of an entire population. The question remains, how many more such pairs are hidden in the mountain mists around the world? If it's a fake, the creator deserves an Oscar for best makeup. But then another question arises. Why would someone climb mountains to film a few seconds? Petty? Oh, here he comes. This phrase has gone down in the history of cryptozoology. Just casually, without any pomp. That's exactly how you greet something that should change your perception of the world. Freeman's footage is the silver medalist in the Olympics of evidence. Second only to Patterson Gimlin, but we'll talk about them a bit later. Everything in this video is perfect, a clear and distinct shot. A creature walking across the entire frame. That very signature Bigfoot walk. But here's the catch. In recent years, the internet has been flooded with pathetic fakes. All these Bigfoots shuffle like drunken bears with their heads down and dragging their feet. Do you think real Bigfoots actually walk like that? Is this the result of living in the wild forests? Or maybe all these fakes are made by those who have never seen the original Freeman footage that I just showed you? Personally, I believe that the creature in Freeman's video moved exactly as something that doesn't want to be found should move. Slowly, deliberately, without unnecessary movements. And if one day it seems to you that someone is following you in the forest, remember this phrase. You might also want to whisper, "Oh, here it comes." Imagine a scorching Florida morning, two friends in a canoe, and suddenly a shadow. Not just a shadow, but something tall, incredibly slender, and blacker than the darkest night. Matt McCamey had no idea he would witness one of the most eerie and convincing videos of the skunk ape. That's what they call the southern cousin of the legendary Bigfoot. What makes this footage special? Firstly, the creature's height is about 3 meters, if not more. Secondly, its movements in the water are unnaturally smooth, almost mystical. Thirdly, that very conical head, which is mentioned in dozens of reports worldwide. But the most interesting is the surroundings. These swamps are teeming with poisonous snakes, full of hungry alligators. They literally breathe deadly danger. And here's the question. Thank you. Who in their right mind would venture into such a place for a fake? If it's a forgery, then the creator deserves not just an A in art, but a whole Nobel Prize in hoaxing. Well, if not, if it really happened, then the very creature is still there, somewhere in these dark waters. Would you dare to venture into these swamps in the hope of a ghostly chance to capture the real Bigfoot? Have you ever wondered what makes an ordinary Bigfoot video truly special? Not just another crossing through a field, but something more. Here it is, the gold standard. Footage where the skunk ape behaves just like an ordinary animal. Yes, you heard right. It's not posing for the camera, not making dramatic pauses. It's simply rummaging at the roots of a cypress, searching for larvae for dinner. What makes this footage unique is the natural behavior of the creature. Perfect filming in twilight light, as well as a complete absence of pretentiousness and artificiality. But let's be honest, each of us hates those silly endings where the cameraman suddenly jumps up shouting, "It saw me!" and runs away. Seriously? The creature that was peacefully digging in the ground for 5 minutes suddenly decided to start a chase? In this video, there is absolutely no artificial drama, theatrical pauses, or Hollywood cliches, just the dense swamps, Mississippi, the setting sun, and possibly the most convincing evidence of the existence of the skunk ape. And now the main question. What is scarier? Encountering a 2-meter-tall hairy humanoid in the swamps, or realizing that it has long been aware of your presence and simply does not consider you a worthy threat? The dark thickets of Ontario hold many secrets, but one of them makes even skeptics shudder. Timbergent Bigfoot, a man with a camera and a strange mission, claims to have found something incredible. Imagine a dense forest where every tree could hide danger. The unsettling sound of stones clattering from nowhere. And finally, there it is. A large red head peeking out from behind the trees. This video is either a brilliant hoax or one of the most convincing pieces of evidence for the existence of Bigfoot. However, this video can still be considered quite controversial. The doubts are raised by the cameraman himself. He is clearly an ambiguous character. His comments sound too theatrical. It smells like urine, or The stone is warm, meaning it was just knocked. But personally, what makes me ponder is the high quality. The filming, the clear details, the creature, and the naturalness of its movements. If it's a fake, then it's a very expensive and well thought out one. If not, then somewhere in the Canadian forests, a red giant truly lives who is not yet ready to reveal all his secrets. One question remains. Who is really hiding behind the mask? Timber? Giant Bigfoot? An obsessed researcher? Or a brilliant hoaxer? Ready for the strangest story in the world of cryptozoology? Ollie Hoffman and Hatch Hoffman, twin brothers, creators of the hoax, or true hunters of the unknown? It all starts with a video that is either genius or madness. Footage that gives you goosebumps. We can examine the creature in minute detail from an incredibly close distance. I also note the striking resemblance to the classic Patterson-Gimlin footage, which we will review with you very soon. But here's what confuses me. Hatch, Harley's brother, made a documentary about the search for Santa Claus. Yes, you heard right. And he claims everywhere that Harley became famous with this footage and supposedly captured the real Santa Claus. This is very strange, as almost no one has seen his footage. In the video you just saw, they shot it on the fly while chasing, following the trail of the one who delivers gifts to children through the sky. I have plenty of questions. Why does the video cut off at the most interesting part? Why start with an interview with the mysterious Harley? And most importantly, the creature in the recording. Is it a real Bigfoot or a brilliant? Or maybe Santa himself decided to change his image. If it's a hoax, then it's a masterpiece of deception. If it's true, we are on the brink of a sensation. So what is it? Proof of Bigfoot's existence or a clever promotional stunt for a Christmas movie? Decide for yourselves. But remember, somewhere in the forests of British Columbia, perhaps still, that very creature roams, and it certainly doesn't leave soot tracks or deliver presents. It all starts with a video that is either brilliant or insane. 53 years ago, two former cowboys, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, went on a regular horseback ride through Bluff Creek Canyon. Neither of them suspected that this day would forever go down in the history of cryptozoology. What they captured on film remains to this day the most compelling evidence of the existence of Bigfoot, a creature referred to as Patty in scientific circles. This name stuck with the mysterious creature caught on camera and became synonymous with all subsequent research. When the horses suddenly reared up, Patterson instantly understood. They encountered something unusual. His hands were trembling as he grabbed the camera, but he managed to capture 59 seconds of pure terror and awe. In the frame, a massive creature about 2.5 meters tall is clearly visible, covered in thick reddish-brown fur with silvery highlights. Researchers have always been particularly drawn to the anatomical accuracy of Patty. Every muscle, every movement looked so natural that even today, half a century later, specialists continue to study these frames. The center of gravity, the stride length, the muscle work, all of this does not correspond to any known creature. The behavior of Bigfoot in the footage deserves special attention. The creature moved with a characteristic heavy gait, occasionally glancing over its shoulder. But most striking was its gaze, filled with some ancient, almost animal disdain for the entire human race. This moment is especially important because reproducing such a complex range of emotions with makeup or animation was practically impossible, even for modern technologies. The physical parameters of Patty still baffle scientists. The ratio of arm length to body, the shape of the ribcage, the angle of the head tilt. All of this does not fit into any known anthropological standards. Particular interest is drawn to the structure of the foot, which, according to analysis, perfectly matches the hypothetical reconstructions of a yeti. Skeptics have repeatedly tried to reproduce these frames. There have been numerous attempts over 50 years, from amateur crafts to professional Hollywood productions. But no one has managed to achieve the level of detail and naturalness that the original footage demonstrates. What did Patterson and Gimlin actually capture? Perhaps the last representative of relic hominids miraculously preserved to our days? Or a brilliant hoax, the secret of which will remain undisclosed? Or maybe something that humanity is simply not ready to accept and explain yet? One thing can be said for sure. As long as there are unexplored corners in the remote forests of North America, the legend of Bigfoot will live on. And the footage from Bluff Creek, where the mysterious Patty was captured, will remain the gold standard against which all new evidence and testimonies are compared. Friends, our journey following the trail of the mysterious Sasquatch has come to an end. We have examined dozens of videos, each unique in its own way and thought-provoking. But the main question remains open. What kind of creature is it, really? If you ever have the fortune or misfortune to encounter Bigfoot face-to-face, remember, it's important to keep your composure and act like a true researcher. First and foremost, try to document the event in as much detail as possible. Capture not only the creature itself but also the surrounding environment. Pay attention to characteristic details like footprints, broken branches, or tufts of fur. If possible, make casts of the prints, collect biological samples, and accurately record the coordinates of the location and the time of the event. These videos that we analyze today undoubtedly capture the imagination and sustain our interest in this mystery. But a real breakthrough will only occur when we have irrefutable material evidence. If you enjoyed this investigation, give it a like and share the video with your friends. Perhaps among your acquaintances there is someone who can shed light on this mystery. And remember, somewhere out there in the remote forests and mountain valleys that legendary creature might still be roaming. Perhaps it is your destiny to solve this mystery. Until we meet again in the world of unsolved mysteries.